okay, your final failure, meditation. Now, you say it's a failure, but you meditate for 2 hours a day.
Yes.
1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening.
Usually, yes.
So why do you categorize it as a failure?
Again, it's not exactly a failure, but in meditation you constantly fail. But this is a good thing. This is part of the meditation. The meditation often is a process of observing your failure and coming to terms with it. Because, like the most basic, at least in the type of meditation that I practice, Vipassana, which I've learned here in the UK when I was doing my PhD in Oxford. So I went to a center near Hereford and learned from a teacher called Esen Goenka, Vipassana meditation. And the first and most basic instruction sounds incredibly easy. You just focus your entire attention on your own breath, around the nostrils and around the nose. You just feel when the breath is coming in and when it's going out. That's it. You don't need to control the breath. It's not a breathing exercise. You just need to observe, to feel, is it coming in or is it going out? That's it. And the amazing thing is, it's so difficult. Like you do it for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and then your mind wanders away. Some memory comes, some thought comes, some fantasy comes, and you start rolling in the memory for like 5 minutes before you remember, hey, I'm actually supposed to be feeling my breath. And you come back to it. And you do it for 30 seconds, and then again, it runs away. And when I went to my first course, this was such a shock that, again, I have no control over my mind. I don't know what's happening there. Like I thought I was a very intelligent and a person, and by then I was also out as a gay man, and I thought, okay, I know my deep secrets now, and here I am sitting with closed eyes, trying to do this simple thing of just feeling the breath coming in and out. I can't do it for more than like 20 seconds. What's happening? And it's been like 24 years since then. I've been practicing 2 hours every day. Every year I go to a long retreat of 30 days or 60 days of meditation. And still, I do it for a few minutes and the mind wanders somewhere. So it's a failure in this sense. But this is how I get to know my mind, and this is how I get to know reality. So this is the inner reality of what's happening in my mind. And noticing this, and also noticing where the mind wanders away, and what happens to the body and to the mind when a particular thought comes up. This is a process of getting to know yourself, not by reading books about psychology or about biology or whatever. You're actually in a laboratory observing yourself second by second. And really, there is nothing like that in the world.
It's so interesting to hear you describe it as a laboratory where you're observing your mind, because a lot of people would describe it as a spiritual practice.
I'm a scientist. So.
I know. So are you uneasy with the idea that it's a spiritual practice?
I don't think there is any contradiction between these two. I mean, for me, spirituality is about big questions. What is the meaning of life? Who am I? And the willingness to follow these questions wherever they lead you. And this stands in contrast, I think, to established religions, which require you to believe in a certain dogma. So the answer is at the center, not the question. Whereas science is, in this sense, much more spiritual. Science also is about raising these big questions and following them, of course, with different tools. Like scientists also, one of the biggest questions in science is, what is consciousness? How does electrical activity between billions of neurons, how does this create the sensation of pain? We have no idea. But we investigate. So in the scientific laboratory, we investigate it with tools like microscopes. In meditation, we investigate the same question, basically. What is pain? Where is it coming from? But by directly observing the pain. Not with the help of any microscope, but just feeling the pain.
God, that's so well explained. My final question, it's a slightly odd one, but I'm interested, so that's why I'm going to ask it. Okay,
yeah,
so
odd questions are the best.
Good. So if someone were to ask you, where do you want to go for dinner tonight? Or what hotel would you like to stay in? Or what time would you like to fly? Or what do you want to wear today? Do you answer from your feeling or your intellect?
I often let my husband decide.
So interesting. Do you think you're a people pleaser?
In some ways, yes, but in other ways, completely no. I mean, I please them in the areas which are less important to me. Why fight about it? Let them do what they want. But when something is really important, then no. Like again, like with these meditation retreats, I disappear every year for like 30 days or 60 days. If you ask my husband or my mother or the people in my company about it, I'm not sure they're happy about it. But it's just like I put it in the calendar. Like, I won't be available from like the 1st of December to the 1st of February. Deal with it.
I imagine it's also because your intellect is so overworked a lot of the time and you're constantly having to make decisions about what to write and what to think. So sometimes if someone asks you where to go for dinner, you're like, that's just too much.
Yes, absolutely.
But if I forced you and if I said, okay, you're in London tonight and you can eat one kind of cuisine, does that response come from feeling or thought?
I think from feeling, but I would probably pick a place I've already been to. I'll go for the safe choice.
Ever the scientist, but as we now know, that's also being a bit spiritual. Follow the questions. I want that on a t-shirt. Thank you for watching. Make sure to check out the full episode of How to Fail on your preferred podcast platform, and also be sure to follow us on social media for the latest updates.